Welcome to aminacademy.com. In world history, let us discuss about the Mauryan Empire Chandragupta. Chandragupta, at the young age of 25, dethroned the lost Nanda ruler Dhanananda and occupied Pataliputra in 321 BC with the help of Kautilya, also known as Chanakya or Vishnugupta. Once the Ganges Valley was under his control, Chandragupta moved to the northwest. Areas of the northwest fell to him rapidly until he reached the Indus. There he stopped and moving back to central India, he occupied the region north of the Narmada River by 312 BC. But 305 BC saw him moving to the northwest again in the campaign against Seleucus Nicator, Alexander's general who gained control of most Asiatic province of the Macedonian Empire. With the Treaty of 303 BC concluding the war in favor of the Mauryas, by the treaty, Chandragupta, known as Sandrocotus of the Greeks, made a gift of 500 elephants to Seleucus and obtained the Trans-Indus region, the territory across the Indus. The two also entered into marriage alliances, though it is not very clear as to who married whose daughter. Seleucus's ambassador Megasthenes lived at Pataliputra for many years and traveled in India, finally leaving an excellent account of contemporary India. Now, further detail. Chandragupta was the founder of the Mauryan dynasty and the first emperor of the unify most of India under the administrations. He is credited with saving the country from maladministration and freeing it from foreign domination. He later fasted to death in sorrows of his famine-stricken people. Chandragupta was born into a family left destitute by the death of his father, chief of the migrant Mauryas, in a border fray. His maternal uncle left him with a cowherd who brought him up his own son. Later, he was sold a hunter to tend cattle, purchased by Brahmins politicians, Kautilya, also called Chanakya. He was taken to Taxila, now in Pakistan, where he received an education in military tactics and aesthetic arts. Tradition states that while he slept following the meeting with Alexander the Great, a lion began licking his body, gently walking him and prompting in him hopes of royal dignity. Upon Kautilya's advice, he collected mercenary soldiers, secured public support, and ended the autocracy of the Nanda dynasty in bloody battle against forces led by their commander-in-chief Bhadrasala. Ascending the throne of the Magadha kingdom in present-day Bihar state about 325 BCE, Chandragupta destroyed sources of Nanda power and eliminated opponents through well-planned administrative schemes that included an effective secret service. When Alexander died in 323, his last two representatives in India returned home, leaving Chandragupta to win the Punjab region about 322. The following year, as emperor of Magadha and ruler of the Punjab, he began the Mauryan dynasty, expanding his empire to the border of Persia in 305. He defeated an invasion by Seleucus I Nicator, a great contender for control of Alexander's Asian empire. Traditionally, Chandragupta was influenced to accept Jainism by the sage Budrabahu I, who predicted the onset of 12-year famine. Now we'll talk about Megasthenes. Born 350 BC, died in 290, was an ancient Greek historian and diplomat, the author of an account of India, the Indica, in 4 books, and he was sent by the Hellenistic king Seleucus on embassies to the Mauryan Empire Chandragupta. He gave the most complete account of India then known to the Greek world and was the secure for work by the later historians Diodorus, Strabo, Pliny, and Arrian. The major fault of Megasthenes' work were mistakes in details and uncritical acceptance of Indian folklore and tendency of idealize Indian culture by the standards of Greek philosophy. Now, according to Megasthenes, we will discuss the following things. Capital city of imperial palace. The capital city of Chandragupta Maurya and the Mauryan Empire was Pataliputra, which is now Patna in India. Pataliputra was the major center of trade and commerce and was located at the influence of the Ganges, Gandhaka, and Sun rivers. The city was strategically located and was the administrative capital of many dynasties including Mauryans, Nandas, Shungas, Guptas, and Palas. The palace ruins of Pataliputra have revealed a monumental rectangular capital with classical Greek designs and volutes, which dates back to 3rd century BCE. Now, central administration. Chandragupta Maurya's central administration was highly organized and centralized, with the king at the center of the system. The king was the head of state and had absolute power, including supreme executives, legislatives, and judicial powers. He was the supreme commander of the army and appointed ministers and other royal administration officers. Council of Ministers. The king was advised by a council of ministers known as the Mantri Parishad. The chief minister was Chanakya. The central administration had numerous departments that oversaw areas like revenue, trade, and agriculture. The military. The empire had a large military force of hundreds of thousands of soldiers, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. The king had the army in time of war. The capital of Pataliputra was governed by a commission of 30 members divided into 6 boards. Each board had 5 members and was responsible for a specific function. The empire. The empire was organized into the territories called Janapada. Each territory was protected by a force called Durga. Sub-districts were made up of 5 to 10 villages and were administered by a Gopa, that accountant, and Shanika, tax collector. Chandragupta's administration was so efficient that his successors followed the same model. Now about the society and people. Here some information about society and people during the time of Chandragupta. The Maurya Empire, the society of the Mauryan Empire was agrarian, with most people working in agriculture. The soil was fertile and there was plenty of rainfall and rivers, which allowed for a wide variety of crops. Women were highly regarded and had a lot of freedom, including the right to divorce or remarry. They were also employed as the king's bodyguards. Chandragupta allowed the region to make their own decision about administration and local government. He used tribute money from allies to fund government projects and salaries. Chandragupta's advisor, Chanakya, was a counselor and advisor to Chandragupta. He played a key role in Chandragupta's victory over the Nanda family at Pataliputra. Chandragupta's religion. In his later year, Chandragupta converted to Jainism. Now we talk about the Chanakya. Chanakya, 4-300 BCE, was a Hindu statesman and philosopher who wrote a classic treatise on polity, Arthasastra. That means the science of material gain, a compilation of almost everything that had been written in India up to his time regarding Artha, the property, economics, or material success. He was born into Brahmin family and received his education at Taxila, now in Pakistan. He is known to have had a knowledge of medicines and astrology, and it is believed he was familiar with elements of Greek and Persian learning introducing into India by Zoroastrians. Some authorities believed he was a Zoroastrian or at least was strongly influenced by that religion. Chanakya became a counselor and advisor to Chandragupta, founder of Mauryan Empire of northern India, but lived by himself. He was instrumental in helping Chandragupta overthrow the powerful Nanda dynasty at Pataliputra in the Magadha region. Chanakya's book came to be Chandragupta's Guide. Each of its 15 sections deals with a phase of government, which Chanakya sums up as the science of punishment. He openly advises the development of an elaborate spy system reaching into all levels of society and encourages political and secret assassination. Lost for centuries, the book was discovered in 1905 only. Compared by many of Italian statesmen and writer Niccolo Machiavelli and by others to Aristotle and Plato, Chanakya is alternatively condemned for his ruthlessness and trickery and praised for his sound political wisdom and knowledge of human nature. All authorities agree, however, that it was mainly because of Chanakya that the Mauryan Empire under Chandragupta and later under Ashoka became a model of efficient government. What is an Arthasastra? Arthasastra has two main objectives. Firstly, it seeks to show how the ruler should protect his territory. This protection refers principally to the administration of the state. Secondly, it shows how a territory should be acquired. According to the Jaina tradition, Parisistra Pavarnan, Chandragupta embraced Jainism towards the end of his life and stepped down from the throne in favor of his son, Bindusara. Accompanied by Bhadrabahu and several other Jaina monks, he is said to have gone to Shravana Balgola near Mysore, where he deliberately starved himself to death in the approved Jaina fashion. So far, we discussed about the great Mauryan Empire, Chandragupta. If you have done, please subscribe our YouTube channel.